there's been a new reveal when it comes to the Internet Computer, because did you know that Dfinity recently did a redesign when it comes to the NNS, or should I say the network nervous system? And I'll get into this in today's video, and I'll explain why I think this does matter to a certain extent, even though nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, and this is just my personal outlook and perspective. So again, the redesign of the network nervous system, which oftentimes people like to say, well, who really cares about that? But keep in mind, user interface, especially for something like that, it's very crucial. The network nervous system plays a very important role, by the way. People on there, they can vote on proposals when it comes to the internet computer. Some people lock up their internet computer on there. And also some people do create and manage neurons there. So again, if we take a look at it, there are some very important roles that is fulfilled through the network nervous system. So if we think about that, this does matter when it comes to the internet computer. So doing a redesign, I get it. People like to say, well, who really cares about that? But have you ever used something, like let's say an app or whatever, and the user interface is just so bad? Have you ever, experienced that? Well, I have. And it's just very annoying. It sometimes just makes the whole experience so bad. I mean, again, the product may be good, the app or whatever could be amazing, but if their user interface is not good, that's just the deal breaker for me. I mean, it's just something that I can't deal with at times, right? But when it comes to Dfinity improving the design, I suppose, of the network nervous system, suddenly people like to say, oh, it's so bad. But why though? It's actually a good thing. Again, if people do care about the fundamentals of the internet computer, the network nervous system is one of the core integral parts to the internet computer. So anything that improves it, I won't complain. Now, not too long ago, there was like talks of a redesign as well. So people like to say, well, why do they keep redesigning it? Why do they keep changing it? Well, again, the thing about that is that it showcases that Dfinity is not being lazy, right? Because they could have easily not changed it, not updated it, not done anything. They could have just been like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. But they didn't do that. So what is it, right? When they don't redesign it, people complain. But when they do redesign it, people like to say, oh, it's so bad, they're wasting time and all this. So what is it? I'd rather see them try. I'd rather see them attempt to fix it. I mean, it's not like there's anything wrong with it, but the fact that they even bothered to change it showcases that they're fixing some small details that we probably didn't even think of. That's the thing. So it's pretty impressive in my opinion. This is a lot more than what can be said for a bunch of other projects out there. A lot of them don't care about this type of stuff, but they apparently do. Now, sometimes people like to argue, well, if they keep changing the design, it's going to make the internet computer not as recognizable. I disagree with that, because the internet computer hasn't been around for that long. It's not like this is something that has been around for many decades or whatever. That's not the case at all. A lot of projects within this space are relatively quite new. Even Bitcoin, by many standards, when compared to other markets, is still relatively quite new as well, let alone the internet computer. So in the beginning stages, usually products, companies, enterprises, they typically go through a lot of changes. So this is no different. But I like seeing change when it comes to this. So it's pretty impressive. Now, people like to say, but this doesn't change the fact that the internet computer is still quote unquote below $3. But did you know that actually in the past 24 hours, the recovery has been almost 3%? Now, it's nothing that significant, but at the same time though, this type of stuff usually, when it comes to the updates and stuff like this, it goes far beyond a 24-hour or a 48-hour price movement. But nonetheless, seeing this slight movement in the past 24 hours, I think it may have indicated that not only has the market recovered a little bit, but some people clearly have seen some sort of positive, I guess, impacts from the network nervous system having this redesign, right? I think some people out there may have viewed it positively enough to the point where they cared a little bit about that, and it's kind of being reflected when it comes to the charts as we speak. So yes, the internet computer, it's still over 4 times lower than November of last year, in which it was around $9. But at the same time, seeing updates, seeing news when it comes to the internet computer, I'm not going to complain. I'm still waiting. I haven't done anything different when it comes to what I'm doing. I'm still dollar cost averaging once every approximately 30 days. I'm still holding, waiting, and that's pretty much about it. I think that right there in terms of the redesign is actually pretty fantastic, especially for the long term. It doesn't mean that they're not going to change it again, because they could very well do that, but it showcases progress. And every single redesign they do, they're gathering more and more sort of feedback, right, from the community. And hopefully it's just going to continuously make it better and better. And again, the fact that they even bothered to do a redesign showcases that they're listening to the community. So I do like seeing that. Now, people like to say, though, well, if they're listening to the community, why can't they do anything when it comes to the price charts? Well, that's not how it works. Keep in mind, right? Dominic Williams, who's the founder of Dfinity, he can't wave some random magic wand and demand, oh, your computer, this many dollars or this much of a movement. He can't do that. What is he going to do? Try to impact the whole altcoin space? No, he can't do that, in my opinion, at least. That's not typically how it works. What Dominic Williams can do, what Dfinity can do, is improve on the fundamentals. Maybe have more partnerships, launch more products. They can control that. They can't control the charts, right? They can't control the price, primarily speaking. That's not how it works. That's going to be dependent on a broader change in market sentiment. So I think oftentimes when people see updates when it comes to the internet computer, they often assume that, oh, wow, why can't Dominic Williams do something different? Why can't he do an update when it comes to the price charts? Well, again, he can't change it, though. But what he can change is the fundamentals. He can change, the partnerships. He can do all this. So I think sometimes there is a miscommunication where people seem to think that Dominic Williams has this massive control where he can dictate what goes on when it comes to the price charts. That's not how it works. If we take a look at Pierre, who's part of the Dfinity team, he's the chief business officer. He also can't do much when it comes to this. But again, at least they're looking to launch products, right? Case in point, Dfinity is looking to launch a DEX, which is called multi-DEX. That's going to be directly competing with like a Uni and a Pancake. And also, they're planning the full-on launch of cloud engines, and we've already seen Caffeine AI version 3, and also on top of that, we've already seen OIC version 2. So that's the stuff that's within their control, and they're actually working on it, even at a time like right now. But again, the price charts, that changing, it's going to depend on the broader change in market sentiment. But I don't mind waiting for a project which I find to be pretty fundamentally good. That's the thing, I don't mind. I don't mind waiting for something which I think is nice. That's my point of view. And so far, when I take a look at Dominic Williams and the strides that he's making, and we're looking forward to, hopefully, what multi-DEX could be, so I'm not concerned at all. Yeah, the price charts aren't doing the best, but the thing is this, I've learned that typically, to wait for a market sentiment to change, there's nothing I can do beyond waiting. But I don't mind waiting because I don't mind being in this space for years anyways. That's the least of my concerns. Again, I want to wait for something that I like. So if I see a project with good fundamentals, then I don't mind waiting because I'm not in a hurry. What do I have to be in a hurry for? I'm not in this mindset where, I have to do this within a week or 2 weeks or whatever. That's not my style. I'm just still here waiting. So I don't mind waiting. But at the same time, seeing Dfinity constantly make updates, that is something that I do like seeing, but I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward if they do announce anything new. So hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very wonderful, amazing, and fantastic day. It's Willie the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.